There we go. Hello, Professor Steins. This is Patrick Rule, and this is my final project as seen on the WebDAV server. So, this site is a site for a group called TSG, or The Speed Gamers. It's a site that puts on video game marathons to benefit charity. And the purpose of the site is to inform any potential visitors about the group itself. Hopefully, if they have any questions about what the group does, the history of the group, who all is in it, this site would answer any and all of those questions. So as far as the design goes, starting with the background, we do have in my opinion, pretty cool background image. I'm a bit biased since I designed it myself, but because the demographic of visitors to the site is most likely teenagers to young adults with background in gaming. I decided to pick a background image that had to do with gaming, so I noticed a lot of Nintendo consoles and controllers here, and then the TSG logo snuck in there too. And so hopefully that would appeal to them. It does follow the color scheme of TSG, which the color scheme can pretty much be seen within this logo right here. It's a yellow to a medium orange, along with a medium to light blue with a gradient on the TSG there. So I decided to take kind of that blue and make it a bit darker, a bit more, a bit subtler, because it is the background, it's not the focus of the page, and apply it to the image and then stick it in the background. So as far as the actual design of the page itself goes, we do have the four main sections: header, nav, content or body, and then the footer back here. So with the header is just very plain, very simple. We have the TSG logo, which is a link. It links back to the home page. So if I'm on another page and click this, it does link back to the home page. And then I gave it a black background, changed the transparency a little bit so that the background image bleeds through, but you can still kind of tell that it is its own section. Moving down into the nav and body, I decided that anything with a dark gray background, white text, should be used for navigation purposes, and then the actual content of the page, the reason why people come here, should be the standard black text on a white background. So you have this nav section here, which helps with navigation in between the pages, and then a quick link section, which is actually part of the body, but has the same background color as the nav section. So you kind of visually you see this, all this dark gray, and kind of associate it, everything in the dark gray with each other. That's what makes it the navigation. Anyway, the quick links helps with navigation on the page. So if I click this, it takes me to this header. If I click the explanation video, it takes me down to this explanation video. And then the footer it's the footer, but it also works as navigation because you have a back to the top link, and then you have a link to the sitemap, and the sitemap's purpose is navigation in and of itself. And then this sort of useless copyright thing down here, but hey, it looks cool. So, and then we have the main content section, which is the actual, the reason the website exists. Since this is the home page, most of the content here is a very basic 2-paragraph introduction to what TSG is and when it was founded. We also have a link to a video here, which is a very succinct and very well put together explanation of what TSG is and what TSG does. And then, since our marathons are our focus, I put a link to the past marathons page here, and an email link to comments@thespeedgamers.com, so that hopefully any questions raised that cannot be answered by this website, a visitor can simply email that link and get their question answered by someone of the group. So, going through the pages here, and do notice that the nav section, most of these links are actually supposed to be white, but since I've visited all of the pages, it's white. When you haven't visited one, it hovers orange, and that's the same TSG orange when you make the mouse hover over it, and then it turns to kind of a slightly darker gray color when you visited one. So go to the past marathons page. All of the pages have the same basic layout. Header, nav are unchanged. The quick links changes per page because these are page links to elements on the page. If I click 2010, it'll take me to the donation information for 2010 marathons. And then the content is always black text on a white background, taking up a significant portion of the content area, but still leaving this nice margin here, so that it's there's a lot of white space and empty space to go around. This is the past donations page, so you can list, or rather look at, all of the past marathons when they were held, what games were played, what charity the donations went to, and then the most important thing, the donation total. I've grouped these by years and then put the donation total in the table footer down here. And then if you scroll all the way back down, you have the grand total. In TSG's 7 years of operation, we've raised $650,000, which is pretty cool. Then we have a BIOS page. It just it lists some of the main members and some information about them: date joined, location, favorite games, a quote, which hopefully gives you some idea of their personality. I'm not sure what that says about that guy, but, you know, it's something. And then a little bit of flavor text that I put in myself to give a visitor the idea of the role that this person plays. For example, Britt LeRiviere is the founder of TSG and says very strange things sometimes. So yeah, we have a list of people there. Then the community events page is just a page that lists out any events that anyone can take part in. Hopefully, since visitors to the site will not be, you know, members of the staff, people that come to this page can see events that they themselves can take part in. They're just organized by, you know, you have a header with a title and then some information about the event itself, when, where, and what exactly it is. Again, quick links for each event. The survey page is actually taken from a survey that a fan of TSG made for us to use, and it was really well put together. So I took a lot of the questions there and made them my own here for this survey. But you have each question separated by these black lines. The question itself is in bold, and then the part that the user interacts with is just the standard text. And then I use radio buttons when appropriate, and then checkboxes when appropriate down later. At the very bottom, you do have a clear button so that any options I click will be cleared like so. And then the submit form button, which doesn't actually submit the form anywhere because I don't have anywhere to submit it to, but it does take you, it does reload the page so that you know that something happened when you click the button. Our last page is the FAQ page. Again, this was taken directly from TSG's actual site because they have a really good FAQ section. So I took the text from there, organized it like so, one quick link per question so that they can, a visitor can see kind of all of the questions they can have answered, and then a link to it right there. And then the questions themselves are linked into 3 different sections: general questions about the speed gamers, questions about donating, and then questions about chat interactivity. And as far as the layout of the page itself goes, you have the question in bold, and then the answer in standard text with a left margin so that you can tell. It kind of looks like a definition list, but it isn't. But you have that same relationship where the question is here, and then the answer is here. And then finally, actually 2 more things. A link to the TSG Presents page. It is an external link, so I did not make this site, as you can tell. Twitch.tv/TSG Presents is a Twitch page that people stream on daily to keep people entertained in between marathons. Back to my site. And then finally, we have the sitemap page, which is very basic. The site isn't very complicated, so you know, you just have the home page and then all of the children pages of the home page, which are past marathons, bios, events, survey, FAQ, and then the TSG Presents page. And then an image map if you would like a visual representation of what the site looks like. You have the home, sitemap leads to the home, and then the home leads to each of the 5 child pages. So that is my site. As far as the any difficulties go, probably the most difficult part was putting together the first page. I had a good idea of what I wanted the page to look like, but building that first page was definitely the toughest part, because once I got that first page, this page, done in its entirety, I was able to copy paste that file and then change the content of every other page. If you'll notice, in between the main page is really the only thing that changes is the information in the quick links and then the information in the main content. So header, nav, and footer areas do not change in between pages. I was able to get a good bit of feedback from people on Twitter and a few friends of mine. For example, they pointed out a lot of typos that I had, so they're better than spell check. And then a couple of things like organization of some information on the home page. I did get one comment where this black background was changed to a dark gray to lessen the contrast, make it a little bit easier on the eyes. And then, And then finally, for mobile users, beneath a certain point, which I believe is 786 pixels, it does change to a one-column layout, and then that one column fills the entire page as opposed to most of the page here. So that accommodates mobile users. And I did get feedback from a few people looking at the site on mobile devices, and it does work. So that's really cool. This was my final project. Thank you for watching.